This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard the tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back, legally, on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. You know, got a lot of reasons to like Dave Grohl, a lot of reasons to love Dave Grohl, no doubt about it. But I really appreciate when people come out and talk about their mental health and the challenges they've had, even the wins that they've had. And so a lot of respect for Dave Grohl, who in an interview recently shared some very powerful stuff about his time playing with Nirvana. And during the chat, Dave said that for a while after Kurt's death, he had a hard time playing the drums.
Just as staring at the sun will burn a little spot in your retina, every time I sit down on a drum stool, I see Kurt burned in mine. And so when I would sit down to play the drums, even just picking up a pair of drumsticks, I had some kind of musical PTSD, you know, because I was scared to let myself break down.
Yeah. That is
never even thought about that, but yeah, I mean, if all you've toured hundreds of shows for day in, day out, and you could probably close your eyes and still picture, you know, Chris, Pat, and Kurt in front of you because you're the drummer. Like, you're in one spot the entire time. You get to see everybody in the crowd. I never thought about that kind of being an image that's burned inside of your brain.
Yeah, and you know, and that's why I want to give him a lot of credit. Of course, you know, Dave's gone on to have an amazing life and an amazing career. But Steve, yeah, he had to get through that. You know, a lot of people sometimes don't get through a traumatic experience that Dave and of course the rest of the band had to go through. You know, so they just can't even look at drums or even look at music again.
Well, I think it was, if I remember correctly, and I could be like just kind of screwing up the timeline, but I'm pretty sure it was Tom Petty that had a big part of him getting back behind the kit, because Tom had asked him to play drums with the Heartbreakers, I think on Saturday Night Live, if I remember correctly. And that was like one of those moments where it's just like, I can't turn down this opportunity. How do you say no to Tom Petty to get to play drums with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers as a music head like Dave Grohl is? And that was like a big part of him just being able to like just get behind the kit again and feel good about playing drums again, because obviously his whole world crumbled in front of him when Kurt passed.
Boy, I don't know that story, Stephen. It makes me wonder if Tom Petty, you know, it just makes you wonder, did he have that in mind, or did he just need a good drummer? You know,
I bet he had it in mind.
How cool is that?
That seems like something that, like, from the stories I've heard about Tom Petty, was a pretty loving dude and probably like knew Dave already. And also probably was like, he's a great drummer. Why wouldn't I want to have him play drums for me? But also thought this could be a good thing for him psychologically to get behind the drums and have fun playing drums again.
Boy, that's a tremendous thing.
And then Dave has a new book, which, because he's trending right now on Twitter and he's doing a lot of interviews. It's called The Storyteller, Tales of Life and Music Exclusive Edition. Well, I don't know if the exclusive edition part's just the hardback version, but it's out there right now. He just put this book out.
I wonder if there's an audio book, and I wonder if there is, if he's the guy reading it.
If he's not, I don't want to listen to it.
Yeah, man. I mean, Steve, that'd be the one audio book that I wouldn't shame you for. I'll count that as you reading.
It counts as reading?
It still counts as reading, though. Come on.
I mean, I'll let it pass because that would be cool to listen to Dave tell his own story.
Yes.
Man, how fun would that be? I would actually be willing to get that myself and give that a listen because that's something where it's like, boy, it's like you're in a room listening to Dave telling stories about his life and what an amazing life he's had. Man. That's exciting. That might even be a book I might ask for.
It's got to be Dave Grohl. I mean, it's called Dave Grohl, the Storyteller. Who else is going to tell the story other than Dave Grohl?
I agree
by
with
Dave Grohl.
you.
I just saw it. Boom.
Okay, so it is an audiobook?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I got something for myself.
Yeah, you keep you busy for 10 hours and 35 minutes.
All right, I'm going to put that on my gift list. Because I can't buy it for myself. It's getting too close to the holidays, so I'll put that on my gift list.
That's crazy. And I can bang down in probably like 5 days. I can read that book in 5 days.
Vicky, would you email me a link to that audiobook, Vicky, so that I can put it on my list? Thanks, Vicky. You're the bestest. All right. Dave also shared a story about a time that his daughter asked him about Kurt when Nirvana's Come As You Are came on during a car ride.
There was one day when we were driving and a Nirvana song came on. And my daughter Harper, who's 12 years old, she said, Dad, how old were you when you were in this band? I said, well, I was probably 21 or 22 when we recorded it. It was Come As You Are. And she was singing along with the song. And she said, what was Kurt like? And I said, he was very sweet. He's kind of shy, a little reserved and could be sort of quiet. And she said, wow, was he shy to people he didn't know or to people he did know? And I said, well, a little bit of both. And she said, wow, that's really interesting that someone that could be so shy could write these songs and stand in front of hundreds of thousands of people and sing them. And I thought, what a beautiful insight for a 12-year-old who's also a little shy to consider that.
I know he shared that story once on he did an interview with Howard Stern where the band performed, and he shared that story. And I was always just like, wow, that's crazy to think, because he's probably not pushing the music of Nirvana on his kids, but his kids hear it because it's played on the radio still to this day.
Yeah.
And that's got to be like a cool moment for him to be like, oh, crap, my daughter's singing along to a song that I had a big part of.
Yeah. And boy, he's right. What an insightful child. Mm-hmm. Because, I can only speak for myself, but I am somebody that you want me to go up and just talk to somebody individually that I don't know, or even somebody that I know but I'm not super comfortable with. It is the hardest thing for me to do. But to get up in front of a pain in the grass crowd, not a problem at all.
Right.
I don't know what that is. She's right, because most people are terrified to get up in front of a group of anybody. I don't know why I don't have an issue with that.
To me, it's just a sea of faces. Like when you can actually make eye contact and like see somebody's face.
Yeah.
When you're in front of, we've been fortunate to do in front of like 10-something thousand, 20,000 people at some of these events. When I'm up there, I just it's just a giant wash. It's almost like a painting of people, because it's just like, everyone blends together. Every once in a while you'll see someone like flip you off or give you the medal, the devil horns. Trying to find some boobage, but that never happens when we're doing our stage announcements, unfortunately, unless it's a dude. But you know what I mean? Like,
dude, boobage is pretty awesome.
But if I had to go in front of like when we did that high school thing at Mercer Island High, where you could, granted, those were miserable high school kids. I'm kidding.
No, they were.
Slightly.
Okay, maybe 40% of them were miserable high school kids. The other 60% were cool.
Yeah.
But where you could actually see everything, all their facial expressions, that to me was just way more terrifying.
Yeah, but Steve, it's flipped. I mean, we are the outliers, because the average human being has it the other way around. And I'm with you. I mean, the way you explained it, it makes me think, like, why doesn't everybody understand the same concept? You should be more terrified of making eye contact with people, and yet it's the other way around. People have an easier time with the eye contact and all that. And I see people, in our sales department that have no problem getting up in front of, doing whatever. Now, I say they have no problem. Maybe they do.
Yeah, they keep in their pants at that very moment.
Yeah.
Literally.
It is. Wow. So, you know what? I mean, I think that it's really, really awesome that, you get to see the other side of Dave Grohl as a parent. I mean, I didn't know he had a 12-year-old kid. I mean, that's amazing to think that this dude that we all knew, who, like he said, this young guy, in a band that started something insane, and here he is a parent. It's just nuts. I remember that when I had that conversation with Art Alexakis, because I always liked Everclear. And when I found out that he had a kid pretty much the same age as mine, my mind was blown, because I don't see these guys that way. I see them as just these young, crazy people, not like responsible adults with kids.
There's a fun documentary. I think Art's even featuring it, and the dude from a couple punk bands. I think it's like called The Other F Word.
Yep.
And it's about fatherhood with like these punk rockers, and it's pretty fun because you see some that are just like, you would never know they were in a punk rock band by the way that they're just like totally like dad mode. And then there's a few, I think the dude from NoFX, where you're just like, yes, he's very much in a punk rock band, still even as a father. Like, he's just kind of got like some crazy ways of being.
Yeah,
I feel like that will be Danny.
Yeah, like Lars from Rancid. He takes his kid to the playground, and like immediately, like the entire playground like clears out because it's this guy with this huge mohawk, red and black pants. Yeah, it's
spiked everything.
Yeah, but he's still like, he's just playing with his kid, and it's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen.
Even before being a dad, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was so good.
Was it like Jim? I think is the guy from Pennywise.
Jim Lindbergh. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's kind of the one too. It's like he's kind of the one that like,
he's like the focal point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's my favorite part of it is he's talking about like being a dad, and he's like, F this, F that on stage, and then he's getting mad at his girls for one calling the other one like a poop head. Like actual poop head, not the other word. And it's like, it's so funny to watch, and like, well, how do you balance this? Mark Hoppus is in it, Brett Gertwitz from Epitaph. Like, it's such a great thing. Flea.
And where can we see this documentary?
It's all over. You could download it.
Just think it and it appears.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I have no idea.
Right.
And it's also a book too.
The Other F Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy it, BJ. I don't know if it's on Prime or something like that, but it's a pretty
I
fun
got every
watch.
damn service in the world. If it's not on one of those, I'm leaving the country.
I mean, you can buy it on Prime. I'm checking to see where.
Oh, you got to buy it? For criminy. Come on.
Buy enough these days. Come on. Find it
Somebody's
for free.
got to have
Free
it.
on Tubi.
Tubi.
Nice.
Oh, all right then. Well, I probably have to deal with some commercials, but that's fine.
Well, it gives you a chance to play on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that. Hey, here's a question. Are people actually buying Halloween decorations where skeletons are getting it on? Yeah, it's possible. I'll tell you all about this at 8:18 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
Make your kitchen ready for every summer gathering this Memorial Day with LG and Lowe's. Our exclusive InstaView appliance suite includes ranges with air fry, refrigerators with slow melting craft ice, and an exclusive dishwasher you can only find at Lowe's. Plus, you'll get up to 10% back via a MasterCard prepaid card when you bundle eligible LG products via rebate. Shop Memorial Day savings at Lowe's. Offer valid 3/3 through 5/18 on select LG items only. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details and timing.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. Well, there is a yard decoration for Halloween this year that people are talking about. And it's two inflatable skeletons that are having sex.
What? Yeah. Where do I get this?
Amazon.
Ah.
Yeah.
Skeleton Sex R Us. Oh,
I mean, this is really interesting, but yeah, it's the one is sitting on the ground with his knees bent. And the other
skeleton cowboy or girl.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that hair.
Yeah. And the other one is, straddling the skeleton with their knees
Are we
bent.
sure they're having sex, or are they practicing jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
It's they say that. Now, I love this article. The article says there's nothing graphic about it, but it's obvious what they're up to. And the entire inflatable is 5.5 feet tall, and they light up at night.
I like it.
This is so funny.
So it's almost like life size at that point.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, if you had like sex parties, this would be the perfect inflatable. Be like, which one's your house? The one with the 2 skeletons doing it.
Yeah. It's a company called, I love the name of the company. It's called Goosh.
Well, that sounds weird.
Yeah, it sure does. They're selling them on Amazon for $80 a piece.
Or maybe it's just one of those, like, this is like the new version of the key party. You're going trick-or-treating with your kids, and you're like, we're coming back to that house after the kids go to bed.
Right. Skeleton's doing it, and for some reason they have an upside-down pineapple inflatable. It's very strange.
It's great. Kids, take the candy and go home. Eat whatever you want. Mommy and Daddy have something to do.
Yeah, I can't imagine, like, I mean, are you going to put this in your front yard? Anybody?
Yes.
Really? Because you kind of,
no.
But are you going to irritate the whole neighborhood?
Probably.
That depends on the neighborhood. If you know everybody and they have a good sense of humor, maybe not.
And if you don't have an HOA, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, does the HOA have rules about Halloween decorations, too?
Sure.
Dude, they got rules for everything.
Dude, I would imagine so. Like, if somebody...
Oh, wow.
All it takes is someone complaining. I'm sure that it's not like... They're not coming around policing the neighborhood for Halloween decorations, but if one of the neighbors is like, this is... violate section 6.9 of our HOA agreement.
Oh, of course, yes.
About, like, maintaining the lawn or proper presentation of your front lawn.
So if you had one of these in your neighborhood, wouldn't bother you, Steve, you guys would be fine.
I mean, I wouldn't care. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's such a harmless looking thing. It's not very graphic. It just looks like 2 skeletons wrestling.
Oh, I guess, yeah, that's how you can explain it away. Yeah.
Skeletons
they're
giving the other
wrestling.
one a sunset flip.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Well, it's
They're
always
just
good
wrestling.
It's always good to have a wrestler in your life.
Wrestle.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's a perfect explanation for it. But there are going to be people that be upset.
Oh, dude, of course.
Yeah. But I also know there are people that would put this in their yard just to upset people.
That, of course, as well. Yes.
Yeah, it's as opposed to somebody who goes, man, this is an expression of who I am, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I live in a great neighborhood, like you said, with the upside-down pineapple at that point.
I have to say, like, you're adults and you have, granted, you're adults if you own a home. I don't know many children owning their own home, but, like, you're an adult having, like a Halloween party where all your buddies are coming over. That would be a great conversation piece if, like, they show up to your house and, like, on your porch are 2 skeletons doing it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be hilarious.
Mm-hmm. And they're pretty big, too, so they're really hard to ignore. Yeah, so you better have a good-sized porch.
It's very flattering of that skeleton to say it's very big.
Yeah.
I'm really loving this Goosh, though. Like,
excuse me?
Goosh has so many awesome inflatables. They have like a 6.5 foot tall, like, skeleton dinosaur.
Okay, I'm in for that one.
Like, they're pretty, like, I love Goosh. They have really great stuff.
All right, so Goosh has got a weird name, but it's not necessarily sexual. They got all sorts of
They have
stuff.
a pirate dino.
So they're just known for their inflatables?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
All right.
Like Halloween, Thanksgiving, even 4th of July.
Is there any company that does custom inflatables?
Like yourself? You want one of you?
Well, duh, BJ, yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering if this
I want a giant Steve Miggs inflatable.
That's a great Halloween decoration.
It is. Oh, just look Shrek and see if I can change the color of it.
Let's be honest. It's a great all-year decoration.
Oh, yeah, I would use it all the time.
Yeah, there's no reason why this wouldn't be out in front of your front lawn. That would be fantastic if you could get one custom designed.
Yeah, that's got to be a pretty penny.
Yeah, I would think.
8 feet tall. I found one for $1,975.
Whoa!
Yes, that's a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Wow. Whoa. All right.
I'd want one of like the Mr. Wacky things, though. Like it'd be my face, but my arms are just going, oh.
That would be cool.
But if you're like a super rich dude, $1,000 is not that much money. I feel like a celeb's got this. There's some celebrity who's got a house that's just got inflatables of themselves.
If they don't, they're doing the whole celebrity thing wrong.
Yeah, they are.
Because if I was rich, I would absolutely do this.
Yeah, well, I Googled not floaty. I Googled inflatables, and Floaty Kings came up, and they're all inflatable pool floats, but they're all, like, you can customize them.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
So you have a pool with your face on it. Like
but now I need a pool.
Yeah, you need a pool first.
Well, if you're rich, Steve, these things are all covered. You just got to keep hitting that. Go for that Powerball, brother.
Or my wife's family, one of her family members has a pool. What if I just showed up with my own floaty with my face on it?
That'd be amazing.
Would that that be Yes, please do it.
I'm already married into the family. They're stuck with me.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the best grand you'll ever spend. It's just the looks on their face.
Oh, I'm not spending $1,000 on this. I thought the pool floaties was cheaper.
Look, your wife will be pissed you spent that money. They will have that look on their face. It feels like a win to me.
But
$1,000.
You can say that you didn't spend that money on T-shirts.
That's a really good point. You know what? Or goalie equipment.
Right.
Or wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
Kraken merchandise. I mean, this is a win. Rev's got a point. Look at all the positives for this $1,000 investment.
Yeah, you got to show the silver lining on that.
And I can use it for work, wherever we do an appearance or an event, I'll have my giant inflatable me show up.
Oh, really? So is that like 2 for the price of 1, or they'll take your place?
They'll take my place. Hang on.
That's Boy, sadly, I know of a former radio guy I used to work with that would have done that, would have loved that if he could have sent an inflatable in his place every time.
Hey, someone said my wife was the president of an HOA about 10 years ago, and we were only allowed 2 complaints per year to shut everybody up.
That's awesome.
Like all the Karens.
Ooh.
Make them count, man.
Oh, the Karen rule. Love that.
So you only have 2 complaints a year.
Yeah.
I would never, if I had an issue with something, I would not go to the HOA. I would just knock on the person's door or wait till I see them. I probably wouldn't even knock on their door. Like, it just seems like, unless it's something that's a massive issue, that's like just ridiculous, but I would just wait until I run into them again and be like, hey, in the future, can you stop doing this?
I wonder if that's a thing anymore. I wonder if people want you to come up to them and even do that, or if they want you to go through the proper channels. Because it's interesting, Steve. I don't know how people are about you coming up to them and going, hey, listen, I got a problem. Let's work it out.
I'd much rather someone come up to me and talk to me than them rat me out to the HOA and potentially get a fine.
You and I on the same page. Don't know, though. You know what I mean? Don't know what the people want anymore. See, because there's so many HOAs. It's just unbelievable that, like, can't we just work this out with having an entire because you got to pay for those HOAs. I would rather just go, can we not have an HOA and just work it out together and save a little cash?
Just be adults.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yesterday, Steve, he did get this one right.
What major racing event happens in Indiana every Memorial Day weekend?
Kentucky 500?
No.
Wait, the Indianapolis 500.
Yes!
The Kentucky Derby.
That's it. I'll tell you what, the Indianapolis Derby, though, is my favorite event every year. I can't wait for that.
Those horses get crazy.
Yeah, they do. You want a shot at beating Mr. Kentucky over here? You got it. 206-421-ROCK. We're playing Beat Miggs at 847 on The Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. How do I know if bankruptcy is going to provide me with relief? What are the steps for my situation?
There's so much information out there about bankruptcy with the internet and what people have heard from friends and other people that they've talked to about their financial issues or bankruptcy. There's also a lot of bad information out there or urban legends about bankruptcy. In order to determine whether bankruptcy makes sense for you, you need to talk to an attorney that's experienced in bankruptcy. So in order to determine whether bankruptcy makes sense for you, you should talk to an experienced bankruptcy attorney. And my job is not to convince you to file bankruptcy. My job is to help you to make that decision and have all the facts so that you can make an informed decision about whether bankruptcy makes sense for you, what benefits it's going to have for you, and what the downside of filing bankruptcy is.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
Make your kitchen ready for every summer gathering this Memorial Day with LG and Lowe's. Our exclusive InstaView appliance suite includes ranges with air fry, refrigerators with slow melting craft ice, and an exclusive dishwasher you can only find at Lowe's. Plus, you'll get up to 10% back via a MasterCard prepaid card when you bundle eligible LG products via rebate. Shop Memorial Day savings at Lowe's. Offer valid 3/3 through 5/18 on select LG items only. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details and timing.